Alright, cool. I'm going to take 1 second and text my husband because I forgot to tell him that he has a Malifaux waiting for him downstairs. So I'm going to do that real quick. There we go. So I walked over to the bakery this morning and got some breakfasts. So his breakfast is downstairs waiting for him. Alright. Well, I have to say, these Heart of Ghur releases continue to be great. Because, oh my god, this guy is phenomenal. He is an amazingly phenomenal model. Really, really good. If I had one complaint about him, it would be his dorky ass mace. But I think I'm going to convert that into like some kind of like chain flail. I think would be really cool. I do think he would look really cool with a big shield, but I don't have a big shield for him, unfortunately. And I do think his spear is a little small for how big he is. So I'm going to see if I have a bigger spear. But yeah, he's really cool. Really, really cool. Just a wonderful, wonderful model. I cannot wait to paint him. I cannot wait to sculpt a massive horse dong on him. It's going to be so good. 10 out of 10. What horse dong again. So, he's really cool. I have not built the Legionaries yet, but they look equally cool from looking at them yesterday, but I just haven't built them yet. But today, we're going to work on getting some of this Hearts of Ghur terrain finished up. So I've got 2 different games waiting on this terrain. I've got both Heart of Ghur, because we're going to try out the campaign systems, and I've got Silver Bayonet. I'm going to use this terrain for Silver Bayonet because my tiles are coming along very slowly. Yeah, so I've got a lot of stuff waiting on this, so we're gonna work on this today. Work on the terrain. So I've got 3 big pieces left, like this guy. I have half of the scatter terrain left. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do first is I'm probably going to go through and just knock out some more color blocks so I can block in some more colors. I think that's what I'm going to do first. And then from there, we'll probably pick at least one of the pieces to do for detailing and highlights and all that stuff. Hello! Okay, so, I think we're just going to do a round of picking out bone pieces. So for that, I'm going to use Stone Golem again, just like last time where I painted the little pieces. And I'm going to go around. I'm just going to pick out all the claws on the trees. That's what I'm going to do. Just pick out all the claws on the trees, because I know I'm going to make a mess on some of them. And this way, with order of operations, when I come back and touch up the red on the trees, I can sort of like clean up and get around all the claws and stuff and make them look really nice. I was going to touch up some of the bone and stuff on like the skulls and stuff like that. Just generally try to clean the bone up a little bit so that when I come back and clean up the red, I don't need to redo the bone. And I watched a couple other people paint this terrain, and one of the people I watched did a really nice job until they pointed out they didn't paint any of the details. They did this really cool thing where they highlighted up all the bone colors and stuff, and I'm like, but you didn't paint any of the ropes or any of the rocks on the ground or the skulls or like, and I was just like, okay, cool. You know? sometimes I don't understand the high-end painting people, and they're like, okay, this is done, and I'm like, but it's not though. They're like, I'm going to speed paint this. I'm going to spend hours highlighting this one color and then not do any of the details. And really, the details are what makes this terrain cool, to be honest. Like the little skulls and stuff on the bases, that's what makes it cool. Otherwise, it's just kind of big, like, derpy terrain. But the little pieces, like, ground it, so that you understand that, like, this big skull isn't just, like, a piece of, like, aquarium terrain or something, you know what I mean? You're like, oh shit, you know, there's some little skulls there. I know how big this thing actually is. You know, this is from a big creature. Gives you like a point of reference. It's really nice. But yeah, it's just really weird. But I mean, to each their own, however people want to paint stuff. And I will fully admit, I don't paint like every single absolute detail in all this GW terrain. Because if I did, it would sort of detract. But I get like most of them, you know. Yeah, if I could get all this terrain done today, that would be amazing. I intended to work on it some last night, but I got caught up playing World vs. World and Guild Wars 2 with my husband. So, did not get as much painting done as I intended. But we'll get some done today. So I chose to use the time of my stream today to work on it, you know. That project I'm trying to get done. I have a lot of running projects right now. So I'm trying to finish some of them up. When I'm really stressed, I have this tendency to just start projects and get them like most of the way done and then stop. And then what ends up happening is I end up getting like overwhelmed because I have too many projects started. It's just like this like horrible cycle. So yeah, trying to finish some of them up so I can kind of try to break that cycle a little bit. And this terrain is one of them. Plus, I've got 2 games I want to play with this terrain. Well, I really want to play Space Station Zero. Give that a go. It's the new game from Guerrilla Miniature Games. Every year, GMG, or Uncle Adam, is a YouTuber. Every year he puts out like a rule set for a game. This year, it's a game called Space Station Zero. And you have like a team of guys that are like trapped on the space station, like the middle of like nothing. Well, it's basically like if a bunch of aliens like set up shop on a space Hulk, you know. But it's miniature agnostic. It gives you really nice leeway to sort of pretty much do whatever the hell you want with it, which is really nice. I'm really excited to try that out. Because, like, I really like Stargrave. And this very much seems like Stargrave. I gotta order myself some D12s off Amazon, though, because the whole game is basically like a D12 game. Oh, shit. So I gotta get myself some D12s. Oh, give me a second. Super achy. painting up the connection point between the tree and the this bone here. So that way when we come back and we paint up the tree, so we're bound to hit the tree right now while I'm doing this bone. So when I come back and touch up all the red, we'll just be able to touch it up, and then Bob's your uncle. She's done pretty much. This way when I touch up the tree, I don't have to go through like multiple levels of process, you know. Order of operations really is one of like the most important things when you're painting. The idea of being like, okay, I don't have to be neat on this step, I've got to be neat on this other step. Like that really is one of the most important things about painting. So I'm using a really tiny brush for this. I'd prefer to be using a bigger brush, but I got myself a really cheap pack out of Walmart, and it came with a metric ton of these tiny brushes for like $5. So this is like a size 0 or something. Yeah. I'd prefer to have like a 2 or 3 right here, but it is what it is. I do like all these cheap brushes, I'm not going to lie. I'm a big fan of cheap brushes. Just because I don't feel like I treat my brushes very well. So, if I had fancy brushes, I don't think I'd want to use them. Right? I just don't. Alright, one of these eyes all painted up. I'm painting inside the skull a little bit. Not going to do like an amazing job at it, but at least get a little bit of coverage in there. So if you look in, you still see skull color, even if you don't see like, you know, perfect skull color everywhere, and there's some gray. Like, there's shadows in there. It's the inside of a fucking skull, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I have a bunch of candles on the 3D printer. I gotta pull off to put all over these. I'm gonna put like spooky cult candles everywhere, and then I'm debating doing like some like green moss or something hanging off the tree. I think would be kind of cool. Some like swamp moss hanging down. I think would be kind of neat. And I think it would look really cool with the fact they're like these red meat trees if I had like some green swamp moss. My parents got me like a basing kit from Army Painter. I think it has some in there. But that would be really cool. I think it would look really cool in the red trees. So I decided to do the horns on these as like a different color. Just so they stand out a little bit. But I'm going to leave the teeth the same color. I think I'm going to try to do some like wash stuff on them so that they're like browned kind of. So they're sort of browned at the base and they have like lighter tips, I guess. but that'll be like after all the washes and everything. So that's like an finishing up step kind of thing. Because I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to probably do some like grass flocking on bits of these to make them look moldy. I think that'll be kind of cool. I do want this train to be kind of like Haunted Swamp. Originally, when I got into wargaming, I kind of wanted all my train to be like super universal. So like it could be used on like any kind of mat or any kind of board. But I don't know. Now, like, since I made my Battletech train, and that's all intended to go on one mat and one mat alone. I kind of like the idea that, like, you know, the train, like, fits a map and fits a location. I don't know why, I just do now. I think it, like, it sells better overall, I think. I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, I'll probably do something like that for this. Like put some like green moss or something on it. Just because I think that feels kind of swampy and good. You know, and then if I have some kind of moss or something, I could put those like on the Rotmeyer Creed guys too. That would be really cool. So what I was actually debating doing with these guys, see how they all have these like shawls? I was actually debating hitting the shawls with texture paint. And then so like they kind of look moldy, and then painting the whole thing gray, not gray, green. So it's like kind of like moldy and like just trashy. I don't know. That's what I was debating doing. I thought it might look really cool. And then like maybe some like reeds and stuff like hanging down off of them. Little plants and stuff. Oh, that's part of the platform. Okay, didn't know that. Yeah, I do. That's also a platform. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll have to color that like it's platform later. Okay. That's most of the points to the tree painted. Let's and a couple that are left. There's one here that I missed. And then we'll do a second coat on the skull. And then we'll hop over to another tree and basically like block in the skull colors over there while this dries. And then we'll come back to the skull. Let's have a little bit of a like assembly line doing all of the skull colors today. I think that's a good idea. I tell you, if you don't have the energy to do tiny details, painting terrain is really good. 'Cause usually there's a couple little details, but like a lot of it will kind of like be sort of big kind of colors and stuff like that, which is pretty sweet. Put some more paint down up inside the skull really quick. Okay, cool. Excuse me, Jesus. So phlegmy. Man, I wonder what the hell. It's super phlegmy. Alright. But yeah, I am so mega excited for Silver Bayonet. It's gonna be really, really good. My team is like Warhammer fantasy themed, so it's not really Napoleonic, but I'm not super interested in historical stuff. But I really like the idea of like, I don't know, a team of like fantasy monster hunters essentially. So they're all kind of Victorian and like Bloodborne-y, my guys are. So I think that's pretty fun. I do wish there was rules for like crossbows and a little bit more granularity in equipment in Silver Bayonet. I think that would be pretty cool if there was. But really, that's like expansion kind of stuff for the Jason McCullough games. It's the kind of stuff he usually just puts in the expansions. So like if you look at Frostgrave and all, like you know, there's a bunch of options in the main core game, but then when you get into the expansions, it like is basically nothing but options. Same thing with Stargrave. You know, you've got the rough archetypes in like the core game, and then the expansions really flesh it out. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to playing that. Oh, I'll be able to once this train's done. I could play on my existing terrain, but I don't know. When I start a new game, I like to like have something new to go with it. If that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. It probably sounds dumb, but I like to have something new with it. So like, I like to make a new team, or you know, I like to like have a new board, or I don't know, something like that. You know. Just really, it's exciting. Honestly, I bought a lot of miniatures recently. Which definitely is not helping all the projects I have unfinished. And it's made even worse because like companies like One Page Rolls are just putting out phenomenal looking miniature scales right now. Like their Space Dinosaur range, oh my god, it's so cool. Like it's so freaking cool. got these big like how do you even describe them? They're like bruiser dinosaur kind of archetypes, and they've got these like big rocket launchers and shit. It's so freaking cool. Yeah. All right, let's paint in some of the teeth on this boy. Yeah, I'm painting some of the teeth, some of the details and stuff on this guy while we wait for that other guy to dry. And like the jackal range, oh my god, the jackals are amazing. They're just beautiful miniatures, and they have so many cool options. Like, legitimately, they're just phenomenal. The new dinosaurs are phenomenal. Their demons are really neat, but I'm gonna be a little bit blasphemous and say I actually like the GW demons more. But they are still very cool. Really just like neat looking monster kind of things. Especially the war demons. There's a really big like demon engine monster thing where he has a big like gun arm that's really neat. I'm debating printing him. But the dinosaurs, the like space dinosaurs, holy shit, they are like on a whole nother level of awesome. And you got these little skinks with like little blaster rifles. You've got these big like, I don't know, like iguana dinosaur crocodile guys. It's really cool. Man, I am not doing a good job keeping it to the claws. I'll tell you what. It's okay. We'll clean it up when we get to the red step. And that's when I'm going to have to be sitting here like holding this thing right to my face, making sure the lines are good and all. I am debating hitting the ends of the trees with some dry brushing to kind of like call the ends out. I'm actually thinking about doing it in the claw color, so like there would be like a bone color over the ends of the trees, like out at the tips, like out at these parts like that. I think it would look kind of cool. But yeah, I'm debating that. Yeah, just bringing my meat forest to life. I will admit as I'm doing all the rocks on all the bases in the same color I'm using for like the rubble pieces, because I want it to kind of like match, right? And I think if I do that, it'll tie the rubble pieces in and make it look like there's just like a lot more rubble around. But at the same time, the color I picked for the rubble also kind of reminds me of aquarium stones. Which on one hand is really funny because it's from a lizard spaceship, so it kind of is amusing that it's like colored like it's an aquarium. But on the other hand, it feels a little weird. But I do like the blue. I think it's neat. It just, I don't know. The more I look at it, the more I see aquarium stones. I'm wondering if I should give it a dry brush or something. But I do like the really saturated colors. I used to like really entirely muted terrain, like everything had to be really muted. But the more I don't know. After this Battletech table that I made, like everything, like it's like 180'd my opinions on terrain. Like, cause that table like doesn't have any washes or anything. It's just like almost entirely dry brushing, and I love it. I legitimately think it's the best looking Battletech table I've ever seen. So, I don't know. Doing that table though, it legitimately like 180'd my terrain opinions. Now I want really like super saturated bright terrain. And I want like, I don't know. Any of the bullshit I've been babbling about this whole time, this whole stream. It's funny because it's like totally different from where I was, you know? Man, it'd be nice to get all this done today. I was debating taking Monday off, but I think I'm actually going to take Friday off. Because then I think it's like a 4-day weekend, I think. If I do, and that sounds really nice. Like really, really nice. Yeah. I know I whine a lot on my stream about being stressed, but that's just the nature of anxiety disorder. What's your secret? I'm stressed all the time. But 4-day weekend sounds fucking baller. Whew. So yeah, what I'm doing is I'm painting like one side of these, because really each one of these arms needs like, you need to paint like both sides and then the top. And if I just do one side, I can just rotate it, and then I'll just like reverse how I'm holding it and just spin it the opposite way, you know? Man, this is so messy, but it's all good because we will clean it up in the next step, and that's what the order of operations is for. You know, I say it a lot, but order of operations really is the most important thing when you're painting. Like, it literally couldn't be more important. Like, the fact that I'm doing a pretty messy job on these claws really doesn't matter. Because in the next step, I'm just going to fix it. You should always try to be as neat as you can, right? Like, you should never be messy on purpose. Because then you're just making yourself more work. But the order of operations here, so I'm doing the claws and then touching up the red after, it covers the fact that I'm being messy. You know what I mean? All right. Our other skull's probably done. We can probably work on him some more and get him cleaned up some. what I'm going to do is I'm going to use up the rest of the skull paint, and until I run out of it, we'll just keep doing these little claws on these trees. And once I run out of it, we'll go work on the other guy. The other guy, the next step we're doing, we're actually painting the ropes, and that's going to be a real cluster. That's going to be an absolute cluster cuss. But we're going to paint the ropes, and then we're going to touch up all of the bamboo, so we can clean up any mistakes we make while painting the ropes. And then we're going to touch up the red. And then that terrain's pretty much done. I think we need to touch up the blue as well. So we might do the blue before that we touch up the red. We're going to touch those up, and then that terrain is basically ready for washes. And then the blue parts will get a wash with what is this called? Drakenshaft Nightshade. That's what they'll get. They'll get a wash of that. And then all the other parts are going to get Aggro Starshade wash. And then we can do some, after the Aggro Starshade dries, I'll do some fancier stuff on like the teeth and stuff like that, so that I can kind of weather them, make them look a little older. Do we got bone color left? Oh, a little bit. Damn it. Damn it. Oh well. Painting these claws is obnoxious. If you wanted to paint this terrain and have a good time, my main recommendation would be not painting these claws. That would be numero uno recommendation, is not painting the claws. Excuse me. Alright. Here we go. Our next step in order of operations is painting in those browns. We're painting the brown on all the wrappings. And then we touch up the bamboo. And then we touch up the blue, which really doesn't need a lot of touch up. It needs a little. But yeah. So painting wrappings on things is like my least favorite thing ever. Like legitimately, it's my least favorite thing to paint. If you notice, I'm cheating a little and like not painting the actual wrappings there. I'm just painting the area like if the whole thing's wrapped. Yeah, that's cheating. But that, in my opinion, is a easy cheat, because I hate painting ropes. I hate painting ropes on individual models. I hate doing it on terrain. Like, it's legitimately one of my least favorite things to do. And some models just have so many ropes. Like, if you look at the Beastmen models, like, oh my god, it's like ropes on skulls for like a century. Like, everybody has a fucking skull and a rope. It's like, oh, I'm going to battle, I gotta bring my pet skull with me. You know, that's how they all are. And it's so annoying. But yeah, not a big fan of painting ropes because of that. I'm also not going to paint all the ropes up underneath. Just because you're not going to see them unless you like get up in there and stare at the terrain. So we're going to ignore those as well. Which is handy dandy for me. So a couple little shortcuts there. One, painting the whole block like it's roped instead of trying to paint the individual ropes makes this a trillion times better. And two, painting the stuff Not painting like the ropes basically that you're not going to see unless you get up there and stare at it, you know. I say as I literally flip the model over and paint ropes on the inside. I'm insane. But you will see the ropes actually a little bit in the skull here. That's because you're going to see them through the eyes. Because you can actually see those from the front end through the eyes there. Because the sides of those eyes there is actually rope. It's not skull. Yeah, right now I'm just kind of doing it as I see it, instead of like picking an area and knocking everything out of that area, which would probably be the smarter way to do it, but just sort of doing it as I see it. Means I am going to have to be a little careful that I'm not going to miss stuff. Usually kind of like picking an area and going over it kind of like systematically is really the better way to do it than what I'm doing. I'm literally telling you there's a better way to do than what I'm doing, and I can still continue to do it. 'Cause fucking genius, mate. But yeah, I will admit I really went from super disliking this terrain and like not wanting to get the set because of it to, oh my god, I absolutely love this terrain. I need to go and buy like everything for it. And it's really funny. I think it's really the tiny details on the bases that like made that 180 in my brain. So first I thought, I was like, oh, this is just big dumb like aquarium terrain. It looks terrible. And then I saw the little details on the bases, and I was like, oh, I have this point of reference now for it. This is really cool terrain. And it was just really funny because it like legitimately like switched. I've mentioned that a couple times in this stream. It sounds like my brain does that a lot. It really doesn't. It really, I swear it only does it with terrain. I swear this never happens to me. No. Oh. Yep. Cleaning up these ropes. Cleaning up the ropes. And then after that, we clean up the bamboo. We clean up the blue. We clean up the red. And then this Mama Jamba is ready for washes. So then we'll let her sit for a little while we work on somebody else. That's what we'll do. And then we come back and do some washes on her, and then she'll be all done. Oh, sorry, we were kind of off camera there. I'm a little more zoomed in than I thought I was. There we go. Since we're doing kind of like little detail stuff, I keep wanting to pull the camera in really tight, or the model in really tight, like to my face. Because that's generally where I paint with it when I'm like painting by myself. My model's really close, and then generally have to try to have some like YouTube video on. Usually something I don't have to actually watch More of like a podcasty thing usually. If I have to like stop and pay attention to it, I don't know why. I don't really like it. I really need to get back into audiobooks is what I need to do. Get Audible sorted out. So my husband has Audible, and I've used it a couple times to listen to audiobooks, but it's really annoying. Using the shared account sometimes. And it's really better than listening to YouTube. There's a lot of books I want to read, especially a lot of Warhammer books. There's a whole Fabulous Bill, which is Fabulous Bile, series apparently, and I would really like to read that. Because my CSM are like, I built him essentially to be like a renegade of the renegades kind of thing, led by Fabulous Bill. Speaking of which, I'm really hyped for the new Possessed coming out next weekend. That's really cool. I will probably not buy them next weekend, just because I've got too many projects right now. So until I get something finished, I'm probably not going to pick them up. But when I do, I'm going to pick them up, and I've still got some browns. We'll just start working on the next tree. I'm going to pick them up, and then I'm going to pick up the cultists and stuff like that. And they'll be great for Stargrave. So not really playing 40k with them, but just using them as like antagonists in Stargrave. It would be really cool to have like an antagonist that like when you kill them, they have a chance of like mutating into a monster, and then when you kill that, it can mutate into a bigger monster. That would be really cool for Frostgrave. Just give a really cool challenge. Sorry, Stargrave. So we'll probably pick a set of all those up. But I gotta get some other projects finished first. I gotta get some of these Warcry teams done. I gotta get this terrain done. I really, before I play any sci-fi game, I really gotta get my what's it called, terrain done. The rest of my Necromunda terrain. Because I've got an expansion for that, and I've got a bunch of boxes and stuff, and all that terrain's really fun. I just really got to get it like finished up. Maybe I'll make that my like goal for Labor Day, to get all that terrain painted. Maybe I'll do like a special like hobby caught up stream or something on Labor Day, where I stream basically until the terrain is done. That'd be kind of cool. Because I also got 2 more of those crates from Imperium. Those crates are awesome. I love those. They're like one of them I want to turn into a shrine, and the other one I think I'm just going to turn into a crate. Just so I can have like a pile of crates. But one of them I want to turn into like a shrine to the Omnissiah. So I found this like half-naked robot titty woman. I was going to print her out as like the centerpiece for it. But I tried printing her and she failed. So I got to figure that out. But I liked the idea of having this like weird pseudo-sexy like robot lady god like as the figure. I thought would be kind of cool. Alright, and then we're back to our big skull. You know what, fuck it, let's do the blue first. blue only needs a couple touch-ups, and then we can say that's done. Bow. Change that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. Known for just 1 second. You'd be back to bother me. From Necromunda. So I'm not worried about touching the ground here, because the last thing this will get will be texture paint. So I'm doing all the bottoms with the GW brown texture paint. I was going to use the Vallejo stuff, but it's a little brighter. I didn't want to have to paint it. I kind of just wanted to use it out of the bottle. So I decided to use the GW stuff. It feels a little more swampy to me. The GW color does. So there we go. That's all the blues done. But I've still got some blue out. So we will use that to touch up some of these guys. So this guy's got some blue in his base too. I have not painted at all. But yeah, doing the bits in blue here is really just to tie all the pieces of terrain together, so they look like they fit together a little bit better. Because then they'll just make a nicer overall package than if some of them have this like really crazy blue and some of them don't. Right? Because like this aquarium gravel color, it's a big eye grabber. You know what I mean? So like, I don't want to put it on just some of the pieces, because then they'll stand out too much. So doing the little bits of gravel will help me tie them all in. Nice. I don't know where to put you now. There we go. That works. Job done. Yeah, I think that's it for all the blue I have to paint. I'm sure there's going to be some blue touch-up later when I do some more of the terrain, but for now I think that's it for the blue. Okay, next up we're going to the brown. Brown touch-up time. This is for all the bamboo. Also lets me tighten up the lines from the ropes. I can make those have nice distinct color differences from one to the other. It looks like I'm a lot neater at painting than I actually am. Oh yeah. See kids, it's all a sham. Like when you see someone paint a beautiful model and you realize they only painted the parts of it that are going to show up on Instagram. And they're like, oh, well, you're not going to see the other bits, so why bother? It's like, because it's fun. That's why. That's why you bother. I apologize, you probably can't see me like painting in the skull very well. trying to paint some of the wood in there, specifically the stuff that you're going to see here in the eyes. I was trying to paint the back of these pieces of wood. You can't really see it, but I was just doing it for sort of my own peace of mind kind of thing. But you can see it like really there in the eyes. You can see that a lot. But that's definitely a piece that needs to be painted. God, the irony. I'm like, LOL at the people that don't paint the backs of their models, and then I'm like, this piece really needs to be painted. But I think everyone will agree there's a big difference between not painting the wrappings like 6 inches inside of a model versus not painting the back of it. Now the really nice thing is doing the straps. So what I do is I do a base coat for the wood, right? And then I'm going to paint the straps. And essentially, now I've produced an easy way for cleanup. So like the cleanup at this point is not super detailed. It's basically just painting the wood again. And painting around the straps. So there's not a situation where I need to be like super mega precise with this. It's going to come out looking pretty good. And that's really the nicety of order of operations here, right? Like I did not choose the super detailed thing to be the last thing. I chose that to be the middle thing. You know what I mean? Because that way, like when I screw up painting the super detailed things, I'm going to, because it just requires a lot more effort. Like just sheer quantity of like, you know, small precise actions, I'm going to screw up no matter how good a painter I am. So when I screw it up, it's really nice because I'm going to have this like, you know, essentially like repair step anyway. And the repair step is pretty big, kind of chunky painting. So it's a lot harder to mess up. So yeah, just by choosing to do it in this order of operations, I'm essentially saving myself headache and work without even trying to. Just making my life easier at the painting. Because really, you never want to save the thing that's super complex and hard for last. When you do that, inevitably, it's always harder. So yeah, there's all the brown touched up. Now I just need to touch up the red, and this tree is done. We can move on to another tree. Well, to be honest, I'm about an hour now. This is usually where I'd stop streaming. But all I'm going to do if I stop streaming is just take off my pants. So I'm just going to keep painting. It's the only difference is that I will be wearing pants or not. So I'm just going to keep painting. Because I'm going to be painting this either way. Because that's what I want to do today. So do need to be a little careful at the connection points here. Like down where the tree connects to the bone and stuff, and around the lips of the claws and stuff like that. Gotta be a little neat there. I missed painting one claw. That's okay. Not gonna worry about that. Let's say that one hasn't grown in quite yet. And I don't have this on a base or anything, and since I've just been handling it, points where it's been handled or like knocked into other terrain or stuff, it might have some chipping. So we'll clean that up at the same time too while we're here. So I have not been particularly kind to this terrain while I've been painting it. Haven't been like treating it with like kid gloves or anything, you know. Yeah. Meat trees. I don't know why I chose to paint them like meat trees, but I really did. I just thought the idea was cool if they were like this weird kind of spooky red. I think a lot of their inspiration came from Cult of the Lamb, to be honest, and the trees and that. Because they have all these like spooky cult kind of trees and mushrooms and things where there's like a bunch of like iconography and stuff hanging off from them. It's really neat. Like there are these points where you meet like the gods, and they like change the world when you meet them. It's really neat. So like what looks like just a spooky forest ends up becoming this like dead forest with all these like corpses hanging from trees and stuff. It's really cool. Really neat effect. Yeah, I think that's probably where I got the inspiration for the quote-unquote meat trees from. That's actually supposed to be tree, not rock. Yeah, there we go. Hold them by the fangs here, because I know there's no fresh paint on that. Oh, I missed like a whole section of painting claws on this tray. Well, that we have to fix. Can't leave that be. I guess we'll just hit that last and make sure we do a really nice, neat job on it. We'll consider that like a hot fix or something, I guess. Nice. All right, let me get a little more red out. Touch up a little bit more red, and then we'll fix those claws. And then this guy's all done and ready to dry. Let's figure out what color I want to paint the horn. I don't know yet. To be honest, I think that horn I'm going to just save for last. To be completely honest. Yeah, I missed a couple of claws on the tray. Okay, let's touch those up and then this sucker's all done. Yeah. Yeah. Now we can move on to the next tree. Oh. And then with this tree done, I'll officially be halfway doing all this tree. Yeah, because I missed a lot of these claws. That's cool. We can do them neater. Even the best laid plans have troubles. You know? Best laid plans and all that, you know? That's right, I shouldn't hold the tree, I should hold the fangs. But I just got red all over the fangs. Good job, Josh. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, well, I guess we're fixing the fangs now next. This is why they tell you to paint one color and then let it dry. Okay, cool. Well, his teeth are cleaned up, so now I just gotta fix these fangs that I fucked up. Go. Alright, now he needs to sit for a little bit and then he'll get washes. So while he gets washes, we'll just keep painting fangs on this tree. We'll do. So he's going to get 2 different washes, and then we're going to do the big fangs on the skull after that. So he's going to get Dragon Shaft Nightshade, and then on all the blue pieces, and it makes the turquoise a little more blue. And then he's going to get Agrath's Earthshade on literally everything else. Literally everything else getting Agrath's Earthshade. Go around and knock out some more of these claws while we wait, you know? That's all I'm doing. little bit of assembly line, you know? I saw someone wrap these trees in like tons of greenage. It looked kind of neat, but it kind of also felt like it was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like these trees are intended to be like more monster than tree, I guess. That makes sense, right? Because that's why these things are surrounded by bones, is what I understand is they kill and eat things. So like you have these big monsters wander in here and they just sort of like get trapped in all the thorns in the trees. And the trees eat them, is my understanding. I think they can even technically like whip at you and stuff like that. Like they're not entirely like sticker bushes. Like I think they can actually like grab stuff and all. Age of Sigmar has this weird like bionicle story thing with all these different realms and all like it's the realm of death and the realm of life and the realm of beasts. And it's very weird. It's not like inherently bad, but it's okay. It's just like a weird story setup. It feels very like early 2000s, like Bionicle, really. It feels very Bionicle. The thing they missed is the coolest part of Bionicle was when it was like set on an island and there was like, you know, just different masks and stuff. And it wasn't this like huge thing. It was just like a bunch of robots protecting their island. That was the coolest part. Because it was like small and understandable then, you know? And relatable. Not that like, you know, all the kids building Bionicles were robots protecting their islands, but like it's more understandable when like, you know, it's like a village versus a world, you know? Very hard to relate to like an entire like realm kind of thing. It's one of the reasons they've been really pushing these like different like zones in the realms, so that you can like know those zones, I guess, and have some connection the way you did in like the old world. I feel like they've been really trying to push that, which is good. I mean, it's the right way to do it. Personally, I think they just need to like, I don't know, merge all the realms together. Would be kind of neat. Then you can have all these like specific zones that are like like themed different, but they're all kind of like related to each other, you know. I think that's probably the more interesting way to do it. I don't know why them being connected makes it more interesting. It does. So by the time I'm done doing all these claws, that thing will probably be ready for washes. Like I said, I'd normally stop streaming around now, but I'm just going to keep painting these either way, so I might as well. At least until I got the washes on that one. And yeah, that's cool. I would like to go say hi to my husband, though. So I think I will call it after I get those washes down. And then I'll go say hi to him, and then I'll probably just come back and paint more. Maybe I'll see if I can get Audible working. Listen to an audiobook. Be kind of cool. Oh, only one more arm of trees of claws on this guy. Just occurred to me, I grabbed the other tree. I didn't even grab the one I was working on before. Which is fine. I mean, they all got to get painted. At the end of the day, everything's got to get painted. There we go. 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 Work my way down the claws. Painting fast. Talking slow. Oh man, I gotta go to work tomorrow. Like, I legit love my job, but man, it's still the idea of going to work is still like, ugh. I don't wanna do it, you know? If I was more interesting or a better painter, maybe I could do this full time. But I'm not, so LOL. No, really. Real talk, like, I wouldn't ever wanna do YouTube full time. Not because it isn't fun, because like I stream because it's fun, right? I stream just because I enjoy it. You know, because I would like to make a little bit money off it one day, you know what I mean? Maybe so it pays for itself. But, you know, we're not there yet. That's cool. But I stream really just because I enjoy it. Like, 100% because I enjoy it. It's because it's fun to sit here and talk about my hobby and stuff. It's like, you know, it's hard to find people to talk to this stuff about, to the quantity that I want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Because, like, I legitimately could talk about hobby stuff, like real talk, like 24/7 hours a day. Like, not even exaggeration. Like, I legitimately could talk about painting and models and games and, like, literally all day, every day. So it's hard to find people that want to talk about it that much and aren't just like, are you mental? And the answer to that question is obviously yes, but you know, we don't want everyone to realize that. Then they won't hang out with you. They don't hang out with me anyway, so don't listen to my advice. My advice is bad. It's bad advice. Don't listen to me. I'm bad advice. Josh, 2022. I know what year it is, okay? Alright. That tree's all done. All the claws, anyway. Let's do them washes. Snow oil. Some oil I got yesterday from the magazine. It's very handy. Alright, let's figure out where the Agrex Air Shade went. It's on this desk somewhere. I know it. Is it under the Sexy Centaur Daddy? No. Under the Sexy Centaur Daddy is where everything wants to be. Giggity. What are you? You're Juchi Violet. What are you? You're dead. It's around here somewhere. I know it. There it is. No oil. Liquid skill. Do the hustle. Now, annoyingly, I'm going to have to wait for this to fully dry before I can do the blue. Otherwise, they'll, if there's areas where they're touching, they'll like merge together. Do the hustle. So I'll have to wait the like 15 minutes or whatever for this to dry, and then I can do the blow. Which is fine. It's just, again, order of operations. Again, my red fingers. Fuck you, red fingers. Hi. So they do tell you to only have one wet paint at a time on a model. And this is exactly why. So you paint one color and you wait for it to dry. And it's exactly things like this. Like errors like this where, you know, paint might get on your hands or your clothes or something, and then like transfer somewhere else on the model. Yeah, I'm just slathering it on, man. I'm just gonna darken down and brown everything. Fill in the crevices. Give everything a nice kind of like dirty look. Really, Agrax Earthshade is legitimately like my favorite paint. Just because I do like everything to be kind of dirty and grungy. And it just does a really, really good job of that. Like, it is no shit legitimately a step in most of my painting recipes are slather it with Agrax Earthshade. I like how it gets in all the crevices and kind of like fills it in. And like, I like the like pooling effect you get on sometimes. I think it looks really neat. I know a lot of people hate the pooling. They're like, oh my god, the pooling is the worst. But I actually kind of like it. I think it looks neat. And his teeth are getting Agrax Earthshade, but then they're going to get... teeth are going to get special care too after the Agrax Earthshade is dried. I'll try some like different washes on them. Maybe like a contrast paint. Maybe I'll break out some Skeleton Horde and paint like just the bases in Skeleton Horde or something. That'd be kind of cool. Just wiping a little off here and there, just to give it some feels, you know. Probably might come back and hit those teeth with some like volumetric painting, maybe, where I try to paint it so that the shape has some like color to it. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if we get there. Not gonna be able to paint that horn though, which is fine. Annoying, but fine. Just because of the screw up I had on it, I'm not gonna be able to. I don't want that big red mark to be in the middle of the freaking horn this whole time. So. Paint the back of these. That's that, son. I can start moving on to the platform. The skull's coming along. Our shade is nice, and we'll fill in all the little gaps on the bamboo and stuff and just make it look like I actually know what I'm doing. And I am going to apply it to the bottoms where you can see it, like from the sides and stuff, but I'm not like going to go completely over the bottom. Up a little spots where there's too much pooling. So I do like the pooling, but I don't want too much. I know a lot of people hate the pooling, but I think it looks cool. So reminds me of like 80s anime shadows, I guess. You know, and everything used to have these like really crazy dark colors for shadows. Like you open up an old manga and like 90% of the page is black, you know? I don't know. It reminds me of that. But I do like the pulling. I think it looks really cool in capes and stuff. I know it's one of those areas like people always talk about hating it on, like, oh my god, it looks terrible. You just have these big black like blotches on capes and stuff, and I'm like, that looks super cool, you know? And I guess that's just proof of like different strokes, different folks, you know, like literally like different paint strokes. Oh. He's looking like a messy boy, ain't he? He will lighten up a good bit, which will be really nice. And then he'll look like balls. Go. Yeah, he will light it up a little. We gotta fix that horn too. So, let me go ahead and fix the horn. Let's see, that horn is uniform gray. So just stick my finger in the red paint. I'll have to take care of that. Alright, so we're going to fix that horn. Okay. Now, well, this wash is still a little wet. It's still a lot of wet. Come in, do a little bit of painting. Stick our fingers right in the gray we just painted. And then come in and just do a little bit of painting on like the teeth and stuff. Trying to blend up the bottom a little into where the wash starts. That's just what I'm trying to do. So wet brush, sort of like little quick. Quick little strokes, going back and forth over it a couple of times each. And the wet brush, we wanted with the paint being a little bit thinner so we can blend it a little bit. Now, I'm going to try something that's probably not going to really work, so bear with me because this is probably really dumb. We're going to give it a try. Everything's still a little wet. I think we're actually going to try seeing if I can get some hybrids and some dry brushing, even though everything is still a little wet. Because this is all going to dry lighter than you see it now when it's fully dried, but a little bit of highlights should be pretty rad. Yeah. So once that's all dry, should be pretty boss. It's certainly left. Let's actually get a little bit more out and do a little bit more of that dry brushing because that looks pretty cool. I did screw up and hit the tree in a couple of spots, but it's okay. We'll sort it out. When the wash is wet, I should be able to come in and blend in a little bit of red and fix those areas. think that looks pretty boss. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's pretty cool. Alright, so let's fix those couple areas I messed up. And then, a little bit different wash on the teeth, because I've got this Mortarian Grime I want to try out. And then blue wash, and then he's all done. I'm just gonna, just hit this, touch up those couple areas I hit, and it should be fine. Just use it to put a couple little highlights in the tree as well while we're at it. Nothing crazy fancy, but just a little bit. Cool. Okay. Let's try that Mortarian Grime out on the teeth, and then we'll do the blue. This is like kind of like a greenish color. I think if I put this around the base of the teeth, it should look pretty cool. See if you can even see it. Oh, you can. Neat. Okay, yeah, we'll see how that looks when it dries up. Should look pretty cool. I was gonna hit it with like the skeleton horde. That's what I was thinking about doing, but it might look good as it is, so we'll have to see. Alright, so we have to hit that blue at the bottom, which is Dragon Shaft Nightshade. We have to hit the blue on the rock, and then we have to hit the horn. Needs its Agar's Earthshade. So, but we're gonna blue the rock first. Okay, now I just need to hit that horn, and she is all done unless I want to do more to the teeth once it dries. I'll probably do a little bit of dry brushing on the horn too. I'm going to paint this on, like this, like that. And then I'm going to pull some of it off, and the tips of the horn like that. Go ahead and put extra here at the base. Cool. Cool. And took us a long ass time, but he is all done. So there's our big skull platform, all ready to rock and roll. Looking pretty boss, I think. I think that dry brushing was really cool, actually. I think that gave it a really neat effect. Oh, we're getting a bunch of rug. Let me clean that up. No. No, I say no. But yeah. Yeah, I think he looks awesome. I super like that. I think he looks really cool. So we got him done, and then we did some base painting on some of the other guys. On like these trees, like doing the claws and stuff. But yeah. So I'm going to take a break there to go say hi to my husband, and then I'm going to probably come back and finish all of this. And I'll show it off next time. Hopefully, maybe we will play a game next weekend, or maybe we'll do like a hobby finish up extravaganza, and I'll do like all of my Necromunda terrain next weekend. Maybe I'll do like another stream event thing. I think that'd be pretty cool. But I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for watching me paint this skull up. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks pretty boss. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time. Have a good one, and keep on keeping on.